welcome to my District Dialogue viewers. I'm Commissioner Mitchell, District 1 Commissioner Henry Mitchell III, and guess what? Today we're going to have a great time talking about something that's really dear to my heart, and that's our animals, our puppies, the dogs, yet along the cats. These things are just really close and dear to me, and I want to bring on a special guest. Vanessa, can you just introduce yourself to my District Dialogue family so they can kind of find out exactly who you are, kind of all the things, the great things that you probably do down at the shelter, and we can just kind of have a conversation about all things animals.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me here.
Sure.
I'm Vanessa Franczkowski, so I'm the Director for Douglas County Animal Services. A little bit about Animal Services. We are not just one department. We're actually two departments in one. So Animal Services is the umbrella. I actually take care of the shelter side and the animal control side. So on a daily basis, I oversee animal cruelty cases. We deal with adoptions, intakes. We actually deal with medical services and resources for the community. So we're kind of your one-stop shop for everybody.
Okay, so you're busy with. Well, let's ask this question though, because most people think, at least in my little pea brain, we talk about when we say animal services, we only speak of animals like dogs and cats. But from my understanding, you and I had a sidebar conversation. That's just not it though.
No, we have everything.
Okay.
So we deal with wildlife,
Okay.
we deal with livestock, so we often get goats and chickens and roosters. We currently have some fish, we have rabbits, your dogs, cats, a lot of times we get birds, and we've gotten things, tarantulas, snakes, your oddities, we see them all.
Yes. So okay. So let's dive in here.
Okay.
Let's dive in and talk about what's the critical needs when it comes to the animal services that you help with the citizens of Douglas County. What's the true need here?
The true need is our capacity for care. So our capacity for care is based off of how many animals versus staff versus cleaning time that we can use to maintain the care and quality that the animals are stationed with in our building. When it comes to our capacity, we have a safe number that we consider, okay, you can go above this number, you can go below this number. Over the past 2 months, if you look at the calendar year for 2024, for January and February, we brought in about 350 animals in those 2 months. You cycled to 2025, and in these past 2 months, we've exceeded 650.
Oh, wow.
So we've doubled the amount of animals that have come into our care, and this is through intakes, this is through surrenders, this is through cruelties, things like that. So our capacity right now is being challenged where we don't want to make tough decisions. So that's where we come into play with working with you to try to get the message out to the community on, hey, let's go ahead and be activists for these animals and do our due diligence.
And see, that's what this is all about. This conversation is all about, really, because it sounds to me that we have more than what our share of animals at the shelter. And what we need now are programs and or people like myself and others to come out and adopt an animal, come by and take one out for a decent walk, yet alone take it home and let it become a part of your family.
Yes, we need more advocates throughout the community, such as yourself. We have a lot of volunteers that do programs like Doggy Day Out. Take a dog out for a run or a jog, bring it back. We have foster overnight programs, our adoptions. We have all sorts of programs that we want the citizens to A, know about, but B, be involved in. Their involvement with our animals, whether it's through fostering, adopting, or even educational resources, it advocates for us daily, and that's what we need. We need more advocates within the county to pitch for us.
Got it. So, okay, so let's take a typical day at the animal shelter. Most would come in and take a walk through the park of animal services, see all the animals, and hopefully at the same time find one that fits their family needs and take one home. And then what happens with that animal once it's adopted, hypothetically? Or they come with shots, or they come with rabies and shots of rabies and worms and all those types of vaccinations.
Yes, so most of the time they do.
Okay.
Depending on puppies, if they're just not of age to get the rabies vaccine, we wait on those, or if they're too young to be spayed. But generally, every animal that comes into our building on intake is fully vaccinated. That's standard protocol per the health department. So they get dewormed, they get flea and tick medication, they get their full core vaccines. Then we do behavior assessments, and we also do veterinary veterinary assessments as well. So if there's any kind of skin issues, medical issues that need to be treated, our veterinary staff takes care of them. Then once they're out the door, we'd follow up with them to go ahead and make sure, hey, you need to boost your animal in 2 weeks. You have free veterinary services, within a certain amount of time to make sure that there's a health check. And then we do support. We support them throughout their visit and their journey home. This way, if they need something going forward in the future, hey, they can come back to us and let's help you out.
So most animals that comes through an adoption phase with you guys or with us, they come kind of fully ready to go, and you'll walk them through that rest of the process throughout the year, the months, or however. How does that really work?
So with animals, when they do come in, a lot of the time they're in urgent need, which means they've been astray, living on the streets for a while. They may need some groceries, to pick up some weight. They may have some wounds that need to be treated. So our job is to go ahead and get them, you'll hear me say a halfway house. We're a halfway house. So we get them ready to find their forever homes, whether it's enrichment, behavior training, modification, vaccines and things like that. Once that's all taken care of, we get them adopted out, rescued, fostered, whatnot.
So I think I just heard you say behavioral training.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a part of the whole.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. So we
the
do-
sit, stay, come over here to me now.
Yes. And it's not, we're not the professional trainers, but we do give them basic training.
basics, yes.
Because we do want them to go into a home to where they have the best chances of being retained.
Yes.
We want our retention rate to go through the roof. We don't want animals returned to us. And again, these guys, we don't know their background history, so
Right.
they may have never had formal training. And if a jumping dog, defers you from adopting,
Right.
we're going to help it to not be such a jumpy dog.
So that way you probably have trained this animal to not jump up on everybody
Correct.
that walks up to them, even though they just want to just play.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it also gives us an idea of if this animal is going to be a good fit for your family.
Correct.
So if we have a dog that, is a really big mastiff that's 95 pounds, and we have somebody that's, a senior citizen, it may not be a good fit just because it may overpower that senior citizen.
Yes.
We want to
Yes.
make sure that it's a good fit for both the animal and the person.
Understand. How do you guys determine all that, though? How do you kind of sit down with the family? You already know the dog or the puppy even. You know whom that person is, well, at least that dog is. Then you kind of do an assessment with the family.
We do. So our staff is wonderful. What they will go ahead and do is they will go ahead and actually talk to the possible adopter and say, hey, what is your lifestyle? Are you active? Are you more sedentary? Do you have kids? What is it that you're looking for? And then we do matchmaking. And so our matchmaking gives us the chance to go ahead and say, hey, you know what, I think this animal will be a better fit for you based off your lifestyle. And then we put them in one of our meet and greet rooms. So we actually get a visual dynamic of what it maybe look like at home. And so if that dog is a little bit skittish or the children are just too much,
Right.
it gives us an idea of this might not be a good match or it's going to be a perfect match.
Wow, that's interesting though. And I guess to add to that though, and maybe we'll talk more about this, because my question here is, it seems to be an influx of animals, that you're starting to kind of see, and that trend is trending upward.
Yes.
Which is now overcrowding the shelter itself.
Yes.
And maybe when we come back, we'll talk about that and kind of where's that stemming from? How's that kind of formulating? And then we'll talk more about our animals that we so love.
Yeah, that works for me.
We'll do that when we come back. We're going to talk more about, everything animal services. Join us continually right here on District Dialogue.
I would just want you to listen to me more often and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to District Dialogue. I'm Commissioner Henry Mitchell III. Wow. Okay, so as we said, as we went into that break for a moment, talk to our District Dialogue family about kind of what's creating this influx of animals, dogs, cats, probably even goldfishes. But what's happening in Douglas County that's creating this?
So, like most of the world, there's economic factors and there's social factors that are giving everybody a hard time at this point. So we know that inflation has cost everybody. You know, the price of eggs has gone up. So has everything for animals as well. So cost of veterinary services, you know, housing, apartments, things like that are all playing a factor in that now. The cost of caring for an animal has grown exponentially over the past 3 years.
Got it.
And so with that, you're seeing owners struggle to buy pet food, provide vaccines, you know, veterinary services, spay and neuter services. Those all factor into why we're seeing so many animals come into our building.
So, and those additional costs that has become astronomically high, it's creating those that now may have had a pet or wanted a pet, now can't afford a pet.
Correct. And so that means they come to us.
Got it.
And you know, we do things to go ahead and try to offset those. Our mission is to go ahead and keep animals in their homes.
Yes.
So you know, we do provide services like free vaccines, microchips. You know, we offer pet food. We'll actually help you build your fence if it broke down. You know, during the storms and whatnot. We want to see pet owners and their animals stay together. That is our mission. And we will supplement whatever we need to make that happen. Overall, you know, in general, it's just inflation has gone up.
Now, Vanessa, you just said something out. Okay, so we offer programs here in Douglas County that not only will help, and it's not something that we want to just basically take over for you and feeding your animals.
Correct.
Getting your animal spayed or neutered, getting a chip, and are these at cost, or these are cost to the county who's paying for these types of services, or that individual who may have this animal?
So when it comes to like pet food, so we supplement pet food for owners that go through struggling times or just, hey, we got a sick pet, we just need some additional food. The Douglas County Humane Society actually offers a pet pantry. So that food is always donated to us. So we just go ahead and donate it right back. So we're helping, you know, helping hands.
And I think I've seen you guys at one time, because I know I was down there at one time. We did this whole thing where everybody was coming up and either getting shots or yet along here some food that was out front, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And so how often do we do that? Is it an
Every
ongoing
year.
thing? Okay.
Every
okay,
year. So
okay.
we actually get vaccine grants through Petco Love.
Okay.
And it actually provides free vaccines to the public.
Got it.
And so we have them as much as we can throughout the year, usually with district commissioners.
Yes,
And we offer free vaccines. And at that time, we usually offer free microchips as well. And so it's your one-stop shop. You get free food, you get your animals vaccinated for free, and microchipped. So, you know, other than the rabies vaccine, everything else is free.
Wow. And I guess the biggest thing here is we're trying to get these pets adopted, and we want them to stay in the homes. I think you said that earlier. And if that's what it takes to kind of help them get there and give them a helping hand, a hand up in all of this, we're here trying to give that out, I guess.
Yes, that's all we want.
Yeah.
We want these animals to go ahead and find forever homes. You know, we understand that there's going to be tough situations where animals need to come back to us. You know, and we absolutely, you know, sympathize and we'll help you out. But our goal is to go ahead and help be that advocate to keep them in your home. They do best at home. You know, we're a halfway house, not a permanent residence.
Right. And I think that's where we get kind of confused, where I think, you know, and especially when homeowners get in trouble with their pets, meaning they can't afford them any longer. Then they want to drop them off, or they just want to, you know, let them go off leash, you know.
Correct. And that's
So,
hard for us
yeah.
because what we try to do is, when I say halfway house, we try to dedicate the time to those that are in desperate need. So those animals that have been strays, that were just dumped, that are sick or injured, they need that TLC to actually make it out into the community, you know, to find forever homes. When we get an influx of animals that are just surrendered or, you know, dumped on the property because they don't want them anymore,
Right.
it takes away critical services from those that need it the most.
Yeah. And we got to do a better job as the community in adopting pets, yet along, if you got one, kind of hanging. I tell you, I mean, I think I may have shared the story with you about I had a pet owner, continues to be a pet owner, but I had a lab, a black lab, for about 13, 14 years. And this poor child was dragged through the community with all the kids, grew up with the kids, and we kept her for every bit of 13 years plus. And she's on the dog heaven and how great it, but that was part of my family. And
Correct.
I think that's what I think we got to get back and embrace to make this a family outing of, you know, animals. Not
Correct.
that I got a pet and I got him on a chain in the backyard.
Yes.
And speaking of that, let's talk about that. So let's talk about the do's and don'ts. when it comes to having a pet. Like, I've seen some of those where they have them in the backyard, no shelter, you know, on a chain, and give them water whenever they think about it.
So we do have, so if you were to look in Muni Code, so that's where our ordinances are located. And that's not just for Douglas County, that's for Douglasville as well. So we have 2 different ordinances. They're basically the same, but just per county and per city.
Yes.
And what we do is, there are ordinances. So Douglas County has a leash law ordinance. So if your animal is running outside without a leash, you're in violation.
Yes.
Okay, we have spay and neuter ordinances that if your dog is in heat, it cannot be running loose. You know, then that helps with unwanted
Yes.
litters and things
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
A lot of these ordinances are geared to public safety, and not just for, you know, unfortunate incidents as it might happen.
Right.
It is also public safety in the sense that animals that are not vaccinated or not taken care of pose a health risk to the public. You get rabies vectors, you
Yes.
get, you know, zoonotic diseases, and that's part of our mission, is to inform people of the responsible pet ownership laws.
Yes.
And finding those, easy as going to Muni Code for Douglas County, calling us, and there are ordinances. We have tons of ordinances: public nuisance, barking dogs, cleaning up your pet's mess if they use the bathroom on your, you know, your neighbor's lawn.
I know.
All sorts of things.
Yeah, and you know, and we don't think about that. I mean, just like you just said, just picking up, you know, the pet waste out of somebody else's yard. Now, I see a lot more people that do that. I really do. However, it's one of those, the ones that don't always makes it really bad for the 99%.
Correct, and it's all about love your neighbor. So loving your neighbor is not just being nice to them; it's being polite and picking up your dog's mess. You know, if they happen to go to the bathroom on their yard.
Got it. And let's change gears here. Let's talk about your staff. Give me an idea of what your staff looks like. What is a normal day for you and your staff when it comes to these animals?
So I have a staff of about 23 right now, and that includes animal control officers, medical staff, a medical team, administrative, and kennel staff. Basically, every morning we get in there, we do medical rounds to make sure everybody's in good health, everybody looks good, and then the first part of the morning is cleaning. So we clean about 180 animals, and we're talking deep cleaning, so changing beds, food, and water.
Each dog goes through a cleaning process
Every
day?
single animal.
Oh, wow.
Every day.
Okay.
And that gives us the capacity for care to make sure that who are you, what do you need, and what can we do for you here?
Yes.
You know, while you're with us.
Yes.
And our officers get calls throughout the night. They run 24 hours.
Okay.
So every day they're looking at the calls. You do them by priority. And so we go out in the field. We go ahead and address violations. You know, if we have dogs that are sick or injured, bring them in for medical care. We go to court. So we deal with court cases as well. Anything that's a violation, we appear in front of our judges. Surgeries. We have surgeries almost every day at the building. Spaying and neutering. And we do life-saving surgeries like amputations, things
Okay.
like that.
So you kind of took the right turn. That was really good. Meaning, let's take a ride. Let's kind of take a moment and take a ride and see what is that like. You know, behind the wheel with an officer, an animal control officer, on the road doing what they do.
Day in the life.
Let's take a look at this. Take a look at this.
A stray dog came onto the citizen's property, drunk, antifreeze. If you don't act fast, the dog won't make it. We are en route to there now. We're going to pick up the dog and transport it straight to our vet at Sweetwater. They already know what's going on and they're waiting our arrival. You never really know what you're going to walk into here. It could be a stray dog and that stray dog turns out to be vicious, and then it goes from a quick pickup to trying to control a crazy dog, or we may have a simple leash law violation that we're trying to address. She's signing a stray release for me to get it from her property. Once she's done, we'll get in the truck and get it to the vet. I'll get you some help. And then, like I said, on a nice day, I let them get to see the outside and get a breeze while they drive. Took pictures of the antifreeze bucket, so if the doc needs to see how much antifreeze, maybe that'll help. It did look a lot watered down, so that's good. But it only takes a little bit of that stuff to really damage the dog. So, had the citizens sign a stray release, picked up the dog, put it in the truck, and now we're going straight to the vet. He went in to see the vet. They immediately gave him a shot. He threw up like almost 10 seconds later, and he threw up everything in his belly. So That way the antifreeze that he ingested would get out. Now they run in like a urine test, blood work to make sure nothing's left in the system and see if there's any other treatments. He is completely fine.
Wow, now that was an interesting moment, you know, being behind the scenes in the car with the officer. Share with us, I mean, you've had some rounds or two. I know you have.
Yes, yes.
So when you've been on that behind the wheel and going up on a call, or whether it's a unique call or just, hey, my dog is having a great day today, and I just want to tell you guys thank you. What is
And
that
I
like?
and I love it.
Yeah.
So as I stated before, I think of our officers as first responders.
Mm-hmm.
We are often the first to respond when there's an incident with a dog, good or bad.
Right.
We are advocates for the community. So we're not there to go ahead and police you. We're there to educate you. We're there to go ahead and lend a helping hand, and that means the world to my officers, especially when they get thanks. It's a very thankless job, but when we go out there to the community and they say thank you for letting us know what to do, or thank you for bringing this dog food to us, you know, because we were struggling. That's what we're all about. That is our mission, is to go ahead and help everybody.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about it. I mean, you know, you kind of hear animal control, and, you know, it's these unique animals that may have been having a moment. What about, let's talk about the cats. How are they coming along? We talked about the dogs. You say you had rabbits. You know, talk about the chickens. How are things, just, do you guys teach the chicken how to kind of to crow, you know, lay an egg, or you just kind of, you know?
If we don't, you can't really, I mean, you can train them. We don't train them. But we do have a lot of people that have barns and farms that are actually looking for livestock.
Yes.
So we tend to get in a lot of goats. And so
Wow.
a lot of people say, do you have any goats? And we'll go ahead and send them that way, you know, so.
So
we
the
like
animal
it.
shelter embraces animals.
We
period.
do. We absolutely do.
Period.
I'm not a fan of tarantulas, but, you know, I'm not, but we do
Tell
get those
me
as well.
Tell me you didn't say, you guys have had a tarantula?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yes. So when there's evictions, any animals left behind are put in our care. And so tarantulas apparently are a popular item recently.
Wow.
So, yes.
Snakes?
Snakes. You name it.
Okay. Alrighty, so, okay, do me a favor now. So for our District Dialogue family, let's talk about a few of the programs that you guys have again, so we can kind of, you know, drive it home, because this conversation is all about getting out an adopted animal.
Yes.
Dog, cat, snake, whatever it is that you may have on site, because we've got an influx of animals that we need somebody to come and take them home and love on them.
And that's where the community comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you can adopt, a lot of our programs are based off of enrichment.
Mm-hmm.
So an animal that comes in needs a little bit of a helping hand,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's behavior, getting to socialize, things like that. So we have a robust volunteer program.
Mm-hmm.
You can come in, walk a dog. We have a doggy day out program, so you're checking out a dog for the day. Go running with it. Go take it to a hike. Go to the lake. You know, you can take it to Starbucks, and they'll give you, you know, a pup cup. You know, so we get those, and it gives the doggy a report card for us to go ahead and send with adopters. We have a TNR program, which we alter community cats for free, so there's no charge to the public on that. Let's see, we have foster programs. So if you're really not sure if this animal's the right fit, or you're your first time pet parent and you want to try it out, we offer foster programs. You can take that dog home for a trial period. We provide everything to you. If it doesn't work out, no hard feelings, give us it back, you know, give it back to us. Otherwise, you get to go ahead and keep it at home.
Got it. That's nice. That's
We
real
love
nice.
it. We love it.
Yeah, see, and I don't think the general public know that all the things that are being offered here in Douglas County when it comes to animals and animal control. So this is really good.
Yeah,
though.
we love
it. Anything else that's out there that maybe the general public, our viewing audience, may need to know about animal control, and what, you know, anything else that you might, I mean, how are the, let's say the doctors or the veterinarians, what is a day like with them?
So for our veterinary staff, it starts with medical rounds in the morning. Just again, who are you? What can we do for you? Is there anything we need? Medications, you know, physical exams. Then we do spays and neuters. I mean, today that's what they're doing. They're doing spays and neuters. Trying to get every animal physically fit in order to leave the building and have a sustainable life, a healthy life.
And that's what this is all about.
Yes.
It's just trying to make sure we find a place, a home for these guys, and help with their future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you do a great job.
Thank you.
I mean, with all of that.
Thank
and your
you.
staff.
Thank you.
And your staff.
We appreciate your support.
Well, I mean, I'm an animal lover, and I just, you know, it's all about reassuring that these guys are well taken care of because they're like the voiceless, and I want to be the voice for them.
Correct. And that's always been our mission,
Yes.
is to give a voice to the voiceless.
Yes. Okay, well, we're coming to a close, and I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. And I just, there's just so much that was here. But first of all, let me say thank you for at least coming on just to share with our District Dialogue family all the things that happens here at the animal shelter and all that you guys are doing. I mean, recently the Board of Commissioners just allowed you millions of dollars to renovate.
Yes.
To renovate the home of where these guys live.
Yes.
So how is that coming along?
It's wonderful. So we're actually in phase 2 of the project right now,
Okay.
getting our ventilation systems put in. We should be done by the end of May.
Wow.
It's coming along.
Okay. So on that note, can you just, in closing, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for at least taking the time to just share with our viewing audience about what's happening over at the animal shelter.
Thank you.
We do understand that it's about adoptions. We need these guys to be placed in a home and enjoy the rest of their lives.
Yes.
And you have puppies, you have dogs, you have cats, and fish, and livestock, and so on.
Yes.
We've got it all. Can you give the District Dialogue family kind of how they can reach you, and if they ever want to get in touch with the animal shelter, just to kind of reach out, whether it's a phone call, a social media, a website, or anything that you can kind of give out so they can kind of reach out with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have several. So you can always call the shelter, 770-942-5961. You can reach both animal control and the shelter staff on that phone number. We have different handles. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and then obviously DouglasCountyGA.gov.
Vanessa, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having
and
me.
thank you for viewing District Dialogue and hanging out here with us, all about animals. That's what this segment was all about. So thank you, and I'm Commissioner Henry Mitchell III, District 1 Commissioner. Enjoy the rest of your day.